Everyone says that organic reach is dead on Instagram. But what if it's not dead? It's just evolving. In this episode, we're breaking down what's really working right now over on the gram for organic growth and what's not.
Welcome to Rocky Mountain Marketing. I'm your host, Katie Brinkley. Join us as we dive deep with the world's leading digital marketing experts every single Tuesday. It's all about giving you the strategies that are working right now, directly from those who are making an impact. With my 20 years of experience, I'm here to help you navigate the world of digital marketing. Whether you're looking to sharpen your skills or transform your business, you're in the right place. Let's get started on today's journey to success.
You know what I keep hearing is that organic reach is dead on Instagram. But here's the thing, it's not dead. Honestly, it's just different. And between AI generated captions, longer reels, the rise of private communities, the platform is evolving real fast. And if you're still posting like it's 2020, you're probably invisible. And that's why I'm so excited about today's guest, the one and only Jenn Herman. If you've ever Googled anything about Instagram strategy, you've probably read one of her articles or seen her name in the book Instagram for Dummies. She is one of the most trusted voices in this space. And today, she is breaking down what's really working right now over on the gram when it comes to organic growth. Jenn, thank you so much for joining me on Rocky Mountain Marketing.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be back on the show. Thank you for that amazing intro. You're the best.
Well, and Jenn, we've known each other for a while now. I recently spoke to your private community. You have a private community just for business owners that are looking and realtors that are looking to grow using organic Instagram strategies. So don't worry, folks. We'll include a link to that in the show notes. But you've been doing Instagram forever. I've learned so much from you, and you've joined me on Rocky Mountain Marketing before. But things have changed since the last time that you were on the show. And who better to talk to when it comes to how to use organic Instagram other than the Jenn Herman? So I'm really excited to talk about how things have changed since the last time you've been on Rocky Mountain Marketing, because it's so different now, right?
It's different than it was a year ago. Like you said, 2020, like, oh my God, 5 years ago, we didn't have Reels. 5 years ago, It was like pre-pandemic. Like 5 years ago, the platform was a bazillion ways different than it is today. And it has evolved, right? Like, like you said, there's so many new features and there's different expectations. The communities evolve no matter what, not even just the platform itself, but how people consume content and how they want to communicate with brands. Like all of those have evolved, let alone the features and functions within the platform itself.
Yeah. And I think that, the features are one of the biggest changes that have come, the most obvious of changes.
Yeah.
And you've been teaching Instagram strategy for years. What is the biggest shift that you've seen in how organic marketing works today versus, I don't even need to go back to 2020, like just from 3 years ago? How have you seen that big shift?
One of the biggest shifts is obviously to the video marketing. TikTok really changed how we consume content. We went from these, 1 to 2 minute, 3 minute videos as a normal over on YouTube and even on Instagram when, we would do videos, to these short 15 to 30-second videos. And TikTok really changed that. And then, of course, Instagram embraced it with Reels. And it's obviously changed things in a lot of ways. Like our attention span has completely changed. We're not going to sit and wait for your long-winded intro on your video. We're not going to sit and listen to a 20-minute, training. We want consumption quickly. We want these little tidbits. We want something that we can learn and master in 30 seconds. And so Instagram really embraced that. With Reels, that's been a big shift. And then they made a huge shift towards recommended content, which was a big faux pas for a lot of people. Like we were like, not only do we want the people we follow, we want to see it in chronological order. Like you still have people begging Adam Mazzari for chronological order. And that, now that you go on the Instagram and it's like, you've got the people you follow, you've got ads, you've got recommended posts, you've got reels mixed in with feed posts, mixed in with carousels, mixed in with like all of it's just everything in an overwhelm. And that has changed the platform where you're seeing a lot more for you content, that recommended content that isn't from people you follow. And that has really opened up opportunity for a lot of people, but it's also stifled a lot of people because now if I only log on to Instagram for 30 seconds, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, I'm seeing a handful of pieces of content. And if three of those are recommended posts, those are three posts that aren't from people I already follow. And so you start to change who you consume content from and how you interact on the platform. And that does change things compared to, like I said, 3, 4, 5 years ago.
And I know a lot of small business owners are feeling frustrated, right? They're posting, consistently.
Yeah.
Um, they don't have the capacity to be posting constantly. They're not seeing results. What do you think they're missing about how the algorithm really works? In the end of 2025, going into 26.
So the biggest thing is, again, that quick consumption, right? People want quick content. And that doesn't mean it can't be educational, doesn't mean it can't be, quote, long form content, but you have to break up that long form content. So if you're doing a video that's maybe a 3 minute worth of content, you're going to do part one, part two, part three, and make them 3 1 minute videos. You're going to do a carousel and put all the text on carousel slides where they can swipe through 10, 12, 15 slides to get that same information that you would have put into a longer video. So you're going to change how you distribute that content. So they're still getting that value add and then the type of content you want them to get, but in quick bite-sized format. And you have to realize that most people need immediate connection. This is one of the biggest things. And I actually just filmed a video about this for my new solution that I'm offering. And it's how to get that retention on your content. And it's that you can't come in with a, "Hi, my name's Jenn Herman. And in this video," I'm like, "You lost me at hi my." Like nobody cares, right? Like they've swiped off before you even said your name. And so you have to come in with the real value at the immediate start of whether it's the title on that carousel, whether it's the text box and immediate first words out of that reel, whether it's a single photo and you've got good caption or like a couple words in the photo with a really good long descriptive caption, right? Like you have to convince people in a split second that your content is worth consuming. And so many brands are trying too hard to create pretty content or to
Mm.
create content that meets their deliverables, not what actually delivers on the platform. And if you're not creating that instant consumption content, it's going to fall down algorithmically, unfortunately.
It's crazy to me because it used to be, you have 3 seconds. I
Yeah.
feel like it's like
Yes.
1.3 seconds now. It's even less
Not even.
than that.
It's less
Yeah.
than a second. You literally have no time.
To stop someone's scroll. So if you could describe the state of organic Instagram right now in one sentence, what would it be?
Wow. Can it be one very long sentence? So organic content on Instagram is absolutely viable when you are focused on the recipient and how they consume content.
Oh, yeah. And that's a completely different way of social media from how
Yeah,
Instagram started. All social media started. It was not, it was not that, right?
no. It was always, I mean, post to post, right? Like
Yeah.
like so many marketers and brands are still in the, well, I have to post 3 times a week, 5 times a week. I have to do one of these and two of these. And like we're following a prescription. And that doesn't work because the consumers have evolved, right? Us as consumers, look at what you do on the platform when you log in. Are you consuming that type of content? No. Like people want that quick hit. They want personal connections, right? Like the whole I know, we talk about this all the time, the curated feeds and the perfect, stylistic things. it's not that it doesn't work, but people want real, honest connections. They want to see you with no makeup. They want to see you stumble over your words.
Jen, that was a great segue. Thank you. That's where I want to take this conversation. That's how Instagram used to be. It used to be that super polished, that curated feed, and they're just not resonating like they used to. Why do you think that authenticity has become the new algorithms?
I think we just evolve, right? I mean, I think societally we've evolved. I think socially we've evolved. I mean, you look at, we have young children and you
Mhm.
look at what they look at as body positivity versus what we grew up with. Like, my feed is filled with mid 40-year-old women with tummies and flabby arms trying on clothes. And I'm like, I have never felt more seen. But that's just it. You feel seen when you see authentic content. When I see a 22-year-old influencer with a perfect size 4 body and not an ounce of fat on her saying, here's how to hide your tummy pooch. I'm like, shut the ass up. Like, you don't even know what a tummy pooch is. You haven't had 4 children, like, but these are the things that we expect now as a community and it's a society. We're having conversations about topics that were faux pas 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And we want that. We want that real connection with people. And if brands aren't bringing a real connection, then we don't feel seen. We don't feel connected. And we just kind of like start to pull away. And so you are seeing even these big brands, right? Like you're seeing massive billion-dollar organizations coming down to like micro influencer levels. You've got these big brands showcasing employee personalities. They're having more disclosure for what's going on without these DSLR heavily edited photos of what their brand mission is and ways that they can connect with their audiences. Like you go to the grocery store now and like how many times do you see something where it's like, 5% of proceeds will be donated to, doggy daycare, like whatever it is, right? There's everybody has a mission and it's like you have to be a part of this shift to authenticity and what makes you tick and what makes you connect with that audience.
Well, and I think that that's one of the biggest struggles, right? For businesses, especially larger businesses, is how they can show up more human, more authentic
Yeah.
without feeling like they're oversharing or that it's fake. How can my business show up more human? I do e-commerce or whatever. Like how can I be more human? I'm a CEO. I'm not going to go out there and post a bunch of, get ready with me videos.
Right. And it's going to start with baby steps, right? Like if you're not somebody or you're not a brand who is publicly sharing personal stuff, you're not going to just like flip a switch and all of a sudden be posting, your, workout videos or your personal vacation photos or your dinner. Like you're not going to go a 180. So you're going to baby step into it. And it could be as simple as putting yourself out there a little bit more if you're a solopreneur, small business owner, that type of thing, where you do showcase what a day in the life is like at your business. Like, here's us unloading product that just came in for the fall season, the holiday season. Oh, look, we got these new candles. They're great. It could be, what you go through with planning and organizing events if you're in the event space, like how much work goes into it. You talk about it. You just make it more real rather than just showing the polished end product. Here's the product on the shelves. You show how it gets to the shelves. And
Yeah.
if you're a bigger organization, it's tapping into your missions and your values. So you could be the CEO of this major organization. You could have 20 employees, 200 employees, and you're like, I don't want to, be more personal. But you have a mission. You have a vision. You have an intent behind your brand. You started your brand for a reason. And if you're a CEO like of a big organization, maybe you have 20 employees, maybe you have 200 employees, whatever it is, you're less likely to want to embrace, obviously, the more personal, like, here's what you're doing in your personal life. But as a brand, you have a mission, you have a value statement, you have intentions. Like you started your business for a reason. You want to help people. You still have things you want to do that are very relatable. So you don't have to all of a sudden like show all your employees or show everything you do in your personal life. You can still talk about the things that matter to you. And like Chewy is a great example, the big brand that does it really well, right? Like they are very honest, they're very open, they're very transparent and they're very relatable. They send really personalized things when you get your Chewy packages. If your pet passes away, they give very kind, considerate condolences and an immediate like reversal of any charges on your credit cards and things. Like these are little things that you can do as a whole brand that translate as well
Mhm.
into your social media and to your Instagram and all that sort of stuff, where you just embrace that personal side of why you do what you do without being an entire, here's my personal life.
There's so many different ways to create content and to share content. How do you recommend people find their balance and they don't burn out with all of this content we're kind of expected to create?
Yeah. Well, I mean, this goes back to a lot of what you say, right? Where you're like, you can do more with less if you just do it well. And so I am not a proponent for posting every single day on Instagram as a whole. Stories are an exception. We'll talk about that in a second. But as a whole, you should not be posting on Instagram every day. Like 3 times a week is good for most brands, and that's manageable. You can do some little content, strategy. You can kind of figure out where you want to put that content. You have freedom and flexibility to throw in if like things are happening in your industry, breaking news, or, something like Instagram drops a new feature. You can still squeeze that in there with your content strategy. But 3 times a week is perfectly manageable. And I always tell my clients, I'm like, if you can post once a week and do it well, do that. That's perfectly fine too. You don't have to be posting all the time. Now, stories, like I said, are an exception to this. Stories are ideally every single day because they only last 24 hours. So we want that content more often, but you can recycle content. You can literally be like, well, I posted this on Monday. I'll post it again on Wednesday or Thursday. Because if they saw it on Monday, they won't be mad that they saw it again. And if they didn't see it on Monday, now they're going to see it on Thursday. But we want to remember that
Yeah.
stories go to your existing audience. Stories are where it is that short form content. It lasts for 24 hours and it doesn't get shown to non followers. If a non follower comes to your profile and looks at your stories, they'll see it. But non followers don't see your stories. So this is your chance to really dive into that authenticity and be a little bit more behind the scenes, be a little bit more, unpolished kind of with your content. And that is honestly, stories is the highest converting content for most brands on Instagram because it's where we tend to be most relaxed. And we could put link stickers in stories. So it's higher for conversions just in that alone. But it allows people to actually connect with you in a way that we don't tend to put our content on the feed. And so that's where if you're going to pick a place to commit, do your promotional content, do your brand content, do your once or twice a week on the feed, and commit to your stories as a place to nurture your audience, to build those relationships, have those more authentic conversations, and ultimately drive those calls to action, whatever those are.
And I think in a world of AI, yep, we're going there today,
Yep.
folks. In a world where AI makes creating a lot of content very, very easy. And I mean, Sora 2 has changed the game with video creation. And I mean, let's talk about the elephant in the room with AI. I mean, you can make content faster than ever.
Yeah.
And that's where I think that you were saying stories is one spot where you can be truly authentic with your audience. How do you see AI changing the quality of what we're seeing on Instagram?
It's hard. I did a presentation recently, so I had to dig out a bunch of stats. And 73% of people today trust the internet less than they ever have before because we don't know what's real anymore, right? We don't know if that video is real or AI. I don't know if that's my face or somebody else pretending to be me. Like, that's how good it's getting. And we don't trust the content we see. I fact check everything, whether it's a stat, whether it's a video. I'm like, who made this? Where did it come from? Is this really, and it makes us question everything. And that's only going to become more so in the sense that like Meta has created an entire Meta AI feed on their platforms where you can just go watch AI generated videos. That's it. There's no real content. It's all AI because they want to push us into it. And so it's going to be finding this balance. And I think, again, we all know we're at the beginning of this revolution, right? Like, who knows what AI is going to do for us as people, as a society, as an entire world in 5 years. It's going to evolve so much, as it's already evolved so much in the last 3 years. And so it's not so
Mhm.
much that I think you need to be scared of AI. It's that we need to find the right way to implement it with our content on Instagram. So, yes, use it to help you write captions. Yes, use it to help you script out a reel or come up with ideas of topics to talk about. But be very intentional with how you use it, and make sure you disclose it. It's like your video's all AI. Please make sure you disclose that it's AI. But use it in a way that helps you be faster and more efficient at what you do without losing your authenticity. And that goes down to, obviously training your AI agents to really know your voice and your language and those sorts of things. But don't don't let AI replace you, especially on Instagram. Like,
Mm.
it's on any platform, but Instagram is such a powerful tool to connect with your audience. And it's one of the most dominant places where people go to look for and find out what brands are doing. And if you're not there, it's a big trust factor. So if your content doesn't actually sound like you, if it doesn't look like you, if it looks AI generated, if it's proven to be AI generated, people lose trust. And it's really hard to get back. So we want to make sure that we're really careful with still keeping us authentically ourselves through stories, reels, feed posts, all that kind of stuff, and using AI to augment what we're doing on the platform.
It, I love I love that you were saying, you'll lose people's trust
Yeah.
if you're authentic. And I mean, you're a writer, and I think that it's one of the things that was so great about Instagram originally was that it felt very authentic. You're
Yeah.
seeing someone's picture, that's their picture.
In the
It's not AI.
moment.
I mean, like, trust is everything. Do you not only with just telling your audience when something's AI generated or AI helps? I mean, do you think that Instagram's algorithm can tell when the content is too AI generated and
I'm
it could
sure.
hurt you maybe?
Yeah, and I'm sure there is. Like, I mean, there's so much metadata on all this content that we create that tells them, what device it was created on, what the f-stop was used on the photo, what IP address and was it AI generated, and all these things. Are so much metadata that helps tell them where this content came from and what it does, that I'm sure for now they're just gathering data. I don't think they're using it to an advantage or disadvantage. But yeah, I absolutely think a time and place will come where content is ranked based on its, relationship with AI. Does that get it an advantage, or does that give it a disadvantage? And it could come down to the platform. It could come down to user behavior. It could come down to multiple factors. But much like, right now, like, let's all be real. I go on Instagram and I throw on a Paris filter. Like, I'm like, oof, smooth out those wrinkles, girl. Right. Like,
Yeah.
we all do something to augment our content. Right. Like, we're not
Yeah.
all just hanging out here with no makeup on and completely, letting it all hang out. But we're all tweaking our content, and that's where the gray area is, right? We don't like, where do I say, yes, I used a filter. Yes, I used AI to help come up with these topics. Yes, AI wrote 70% of this caption. And where do I say this video is 100% AI, right? Like, there's this gray area between nothing, 100%, and where does the disclosure come in? Where does the trust fall off? Like, I could create a video and it could be my face, it could be my voice, it could be me. I verified the script. I said, yes, push this out as me. It's 100% me,
Yeah.
but it's an AI generated video based on an AI generated script. Is it really me? Does that break trust? These are things that still, we don't know the answers to that. And we don't know how consumers will adapt to this going forward.
Well, I think that's where a lot of these private communities, these private pieces of
Yeah.
content have really helped. I know, and you have your Instagram membership that just tell people about your membership and real fast, and then about this new product that you're launching.
Yeah. So Prop Your Profile is the membership. We're 4 years old now. It's amazing that we've gone 4 years. We've helped hundreds of business owners find success on Instagram. And it's a monthly membership. And so every week we're live in the membership. So we have guest experts come in every month. I do a training every month. We do office hours where you can literally pick my brain on whatever topic of your Instagram strategy you want to know. And so we're always, looking to help the members in as whatever ways possible. And it's me, right? Like you, by signing up for the membership, you get access to me and whatever experts we bring in. This is not, pre-generated content. It's not AI generated. It's literally my expertise at your fingertips. And then we have a new product. I'm launching it now called the IG Power Boost. It will be a weekly email drip. So you'll get an email every single week with a short 5 to 10 minute tip or implementation tactic for your Instagram strategy. So you don't have to sit through a 40-minute live training. You don't have to, you listen to an entire webinar. You can get these little bite-sized clips, plus learn how to really implement them. Because so many people out there are like, I know what to do. I just don't know how to implement it. I don't know how to put it into my account. And that's what the IG Power Boost is meant to solve. But these are all me, right? Like it's
Yeah.
not the content that I'm creating for social media. It's not the content that I'm putting out for the masses. These are for people who want access to me, my expertise, and individual specific resources for you.
That's what I think is going to really help brands and especially coaches,
Yeah.
consultants, real estate agents, is help them stand out is having this private content, even if it's just the subscriber. So I mean, you can have like subscriber only posts on Instagram. You can have the close friends stories. You can
Yep.
have group chats, and then like what you have micro communities. And I have a hunch it is because of how social media has shifted over the past 20 years. I mean, for crying out loud, we used to go to people's Facebook pages and write on their wall. I mean,
Yeah.
those days are long gone. And it was all community at the
Yep.
beginning. And it's really shifted into more of a entertainment based platform. So let's just talk about how business owners can use some of these features to help build their community. So, like close friends or subscriber only material, or launching something like what you've done with Profit Your Profile, like taking people, giving them something, everybody something for free, but then really nurturing and building that community through some of these other features.
Yeah, I mean, those are all great, like I said, features. Direct messages as well. We've got broadcast channels, which is a one-to-many distribution, which can be set up on subscription as well. And now the challenge when you do subscription on any Meta platform is you're giving them money, right? So if you say I'm going to charge $9 a month, like you're going to end up giving some of that $9 a month back to Meta because they're they're brokering the deal for you. But it's a way to do a low barrier of entry, right? You can do this $5 a month subscription and you can get 1,000 people, 100 people, 30 people, whatever it is. But it adds up. It starts to bring in some revenue where you're creating this exclusive content and it gives them something above and beyond, like you said, what you're just putting out there for the masses. It allows you to dial in the messaging. So broadcast channels are a great way to do that. It's an incredibly powerful tool that is underused by a lot of brands that want to do that kind of one to many distribution. Direct messages are great if you want to create group chats for a very small community. You have 15, 20 people in a VIP community. Direct messages on Instagram. You can have video chats. You can have, you can send links and information and all the resources in there. So there's, you can use that. Obviously, like I said, close friends works the same way. If you've got a VIP group or a very small, subscription, you can have them on your close friends and share content exclusively with them on Instagram. You can have limited content where you just, like you said, whether it's a private podcast, whether it's a simple opt-in, it can be like my new membership subscription is an email drip. There's no live training. I don't have to get on Zoom. I pre-record, I
Yeah.
hit email, right? And that's a really easy way to start to venture into these mini communities and start to build up your nurturing as you want to move towards whether it's a membership or a more viable recurring revenue strategy.
I love all these ideas, and I hope that everyone listening was taking notes because that was just gold. So as we wrap up, let's hop into the DeLorean and go back to the future. Um, So let's look ahead here because if anyone has their finger on the pulse of where Instagram is going, Jen, it is 1000% you. So, what is one under the radar trend that you are watching for 2026?
I don't think it's necessarily under the radar, but I think we really have to dive into and start thinking about that recommended content. Instagram is all in on recommended posts and DMs. And when Meta says do, you got to do. If they say jump, you ask how high. Like Facebook groups became a thing. We all launched a Facebook group, right? I literally was like, I haven't posted in my Facebook group in like 2 months. But back in the day, I was in there every day, right? Like you do what you got to do to keep up with the platforms. And recommended content is a big, big focus for them. And that means creating that content that isn't necessarily for your existing audience. You're going to have two almost content strategies: content that serves your existing audience, people who know you, people who follow you, content that's going to get consumed in that way, and content that is meant to get new eyeballs. This is the short form content. This is that quick consumption. This is that introduction to who you are without talking about who you are type content that makes them go, oh, that was really interesting, or that was really entertaining, or oh, I want to know more about this, or I'm really interested in this topic. Because Instagram, if they know that you're interested in dogs, they're going to give you more dog videos. If they know you're interested in menopause, they're going to serve you more menopause videos. Like whatever you're focused on, they want to give you more of it. And so you have to, as a brand, be
Mhm.
considering your strategy for people who don't know who you are so that you can get into those recommended posts and build your audience while serving your existing audience. It's it's the only thing we can really see as like a stronghold going forward in addition to DMs for going into 2026. That's what Instagram wants us to do.
And it's different. It's so different from what
Yeah.
Instagram started out as, where you upload a picture and then apply a different filter and then just
It was
let
meant
the,
for
pic-
your friends.
let the, the plat. Yeah. Yeah. So do you think that we'll ever go back to a time where Instagram just kind of is rewarding the quality over the quantity of like going back to more of the community versus the recommended?
To be honest, I hope so. I don't know. The biggest thing with these platforms is they go where the people tell them to go, and the people go where the platforms tell them to go. It's this vicious circle, right? Like if Instagram says DMs are where it's happening, we're like, but is it really? Or are you telling us that so that we'll go do the DMs, right? Like it's this vicious cycle. But if consumers change their behavior significantly enough, if consumers stop interacting with recommended content, if consumers just literally keep going to that, you can go up to the top where it says Instagram, there's a little down arrow, you can click on it and you can actually go to following and you'll see only the content of people you follow, not any recommended posts, not any ads. You can actually do that. And if people are doing this consistently and only consuming content from people they trust, or they start unfollowing everybody because they only want to follow these 15 people that they really want to know, then the platform evolves and they will adapt to that. But until the consumer behavior changes, the platform isn't going to adapt to that. It's going to continue to give people what they're reacting to. And right now, this is what the consumers are reacting to.
Well, Jen, you are always up to date on the latest trends. Obviously, you're on Instagram. You have Prop Up Your Profile. We have this great new offer. We'll have everything linked in the show notes, guys. Hands down, connect with Jen. Jen, what is the best way for people to learn about Profit Your Profile, follow you on the gram, all the things? What's the best way?
Two best places are Instagram. That's where I share the most content, the most tutorials, the most value is always going to be on Instagram because that's my platform of choice. I'm at Jenns, JENNS_trends. So go find me there or go to jennstrends.com, JENNSTRENDS.com. And links to everything are there. Obviously, that's my website, a blog post, all the membership details, how to work with me, all that sort of stuff is available on the website.
And like I said, Google Jenn Herman online and that's or just top organic Instagram strategies, and Jen will be at the very top of your Google feed. So be sure to check her out. If you ever have an opportunity to see her speak in person at an event, sign up for her session because she is just phenomenal to see on stage. Jen, this has been incredible. I know that there's been a lot of notes taken from today's episode. And if you love today's episode, be sure to subscribe to the podcast, and listen to wherever you listen on podcasts. We have new episodes every single Tuesday to help you simplify your marketing, grow your audience, and build real connection online. Thank you again, Jen, so much for joining me on this week's episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks so much for listening to this week's episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. I hope you're leaving with valuable insights and the inspiration to lead your market. If you've enjoyed our time together and found today's podcast episode useful, I have a small favor to ask of you. Please hit that subscribe button to stay updated with the latest episodes. And if you know someone who could benefit from these episodes, maybe a fellow business leader or an aspiring entrepreneur, go ahead and share this episode with them. Let's spread the knowledge and grow together. Also, I'd love to hear from you and continue the conversation beyond the podcast. Visit me at katiebrinkley.com to connect, to find more resources, or just to share your journey. And be sure to pick up your copy of my new book, The Social Shift, at katiebrinkley.com/book. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Katie Brinkley, and I can't wait to dive into more strategies and stories with you on the next episode of Rocky Mountain Marketing. Let's keep on taking your marketing to new heights.